It's a tale of two Jakes today at Wrigley Field. Jake Peavy has a long resume, is a former Cy Young Award winner with 2 World Championships. Jake Arrieta is part of the Cubs turnaround and is a big reason why they're thinking playoffs. It's a matchup of Jake's final game of the series, and it's coming up next. Day baseball here in Chicago. We're at Wrigley Field as the Giants and the Cubs wrap up this 4-game series. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Alongside me is John Miller. Mike will join us back in San Francisco on Tuesday night. Well, the Giants need a win. They've dropped the first 3 games in this series. A lot of things going on, and I'm wondering, John, when you talked to Bruce Bochy before the game, what'd you take out of that conversation?
Well, one thing, as we know, the Giants pitcher, Jake Peavy, has been excellent. However, he's also kind of cautioned. He said, now we took him deeper into that game. He threw more pitches than he had thrown in any of the other games. So for him, there's a little bit of a sort of a little lack of knowledge in terms of how far he might go in this ball game or how sharp he might be, because he has not been there before, having thrown that many pitches and then the next start. The other part of it is, I said, who's the closer? And he said, well, it all depends on who's coming up in those innings, whether or not he uses Romo in the 8th inning. So it could be either Javier Lopez, Romo, or Santiago Casilla. And if the Giants get to that spot, which they have not so far in this series.
You know, the one thing that we've seen so far in this series is this is an energetic city, and it's an energetic crowd, and these people here in this ballpark and in this town are starting to believe right now.
Well, it's very exciting. They've had a lot of down years in a row here. They've had a lot of down years over the years here, but they have been building steadily. That was the promise. And with all the bad years, that, hey, we're building, we're going with young guys to try and remodel this thing so we'll be good year after year after year. And those guys have started to arrive now, and we're seeing in the Giants the best players in the field, other than Anthony Rizzo, who's not that old a guy himself, have been the 4 Cubs rookies, and these guys all look good right now.
Yep. Well, Giants need to win, and it'll be tough today, but they got a shot to do it. All right, stay tuned. We'll take you to our Comcast Sportsnet studios for an update, and we'll do that right after these messages. for the final game of this series. Let's check out our AT&T U-verse rewind. It's all about Jake Peavy. Tuesday against the Atlanta Braves. Peavy, who ended up with a no decision, was terrific. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, a walk. He had 8 strikeouts. He threw 106 pitches. And it was just what the Giants needed at that time. And guess what? They need it again today. They need some innings out of Jake Peavy, and they need him to pitch well. Giants need a win. So Peavy getting ready to take on these Chicago Cubs, who are red hot right now, as they've won the first 3 games in this 4-game series. So Peavy on the hill for the Giants. Our Giants fans still in attendance, and they need a win, and so do we. Lineup, first pitch coming up.
Southern Bay area is brought to you by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
Another sellout crowd as we're at Wrigley Field for the final game of this series. Let's check out our AT&T U-verse rewind. It's all about Jake Peavy Tuesday against the Atlanta Braves. Peavy, who ended up with a no decision, was terrific. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, a walk. He had 8 strikeouts. He threw 106 pitches, and it was just what the Giants needed at that time. And guess what? They need it again today. They need some innings out of Jake Peavy, and they need him to pitch well. Giants need a win. So Peavy getting ready to take on the Chicago Cubs, who are red hot right now, as they've won the first 3 games in this 4-game series. So Peavy on the hill for the Giants. Our Giants fans still in attendance, and they need a win, and so do we. Lineup, first pitch coming up.
The earlier forecast had called for. There's supposed to be a lot of rain in the area today, but we seem to have been spared that. The game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. Temperature right now 74 very humid degrees. 82% is the humidity. There's a little bit of a breeze blowing in from right and across toward left. And there is still in the forecast a chance of rain. How much of a chance? We can't tell you. But a chance.
A chance.
Always a chance of rain here in Chicago. No matter what day of the week it is and what time of year.
A chance. Yeah, we got a couple of minutes before first pitch, so this will give us a chance to do our solar company electrifying play of the week. It happened Monday. Kelby Tomlinson with his wife and his father-in-law in attendance. And what does he do? He wraps his first major league hit. It was a single, and then he scored in the top of the 12th. It gave the Giants the lead. His wife Tiffany, his father-in-law Bob and Tiffany, they were psyched, and so were we, because we thought the Giants were on their way to a win. Disappointed at the bitter end, but not Bob and Tiffany. And by the way, 2 nights later, he got 2 hits in his first 2 at bats. So at one point in his career, he was 3 for 3. He was batting 1,000. He was tied for the very highest lifetime batting average ever.
And he was the last time a Giant had 4 hits in his first 4 at bats. That was Willie McCovey, which, of course, that was kind of cool to be mentioned in the same sentence with the great Hall of Famer Stretch McCovey. The last time a Giant had a hit in his first 3 at bats was 9 years ago, and that was Fred Lewis.
Well, Kelby Tomlinson, since that Wednesday night, hasn't gotten a hit, but very happy to be here in the big leagues, as you would expect. And the Cubs now take the field. There's Jake Arrieta, who's having a really terrific season. The lineup that'll be facing Arrieta: no Pagan today. He's got the day off. It'll be Aoki, Blanco, and Duffy. Buster Posey, you see his numbers here at Wrigley Field. He likes it here, and he's had a great road trip. Pence is going to hit 5th, then Belt, followed by Crawford, Adrianza, and Jake Peavy. Arrieta's 12-6. He's got a 2.50 earned run average, and you can see left-handers have a tough time against them. Overall, the opposition's only hitting 209. He is one tough right-hander for the Giants in a game where they really need a win. They need a win to make it a 4-6 trip. As far as Giants hitters who have faced Arrieta, Aoki's faced him, Posey, Pence, and Crawford. That's it. Everybody else is kind of on their own when it comes to facing this tough right-hander. Behind Arrieta in the outfield from left to right, it'll be Schwarber, followed by Fowler and Soler. Then it's Bryant, Russell, Coughlin, and Rizzo from 3rd to 1st. And the former D-back, Miguel Montero, he will do the honors behind the plate. So it's been a series that has gone all to the Cubs. 5-4 on Thursday, 7-3 on Friday. In the game yesterday, the Giants made it close at the end. They scored 3 runs in the 9th inning, and the final in that one was 8-6. So big afternoon for both teams, but a really big afternoon for the Giants. So sit back and enjoy this one. And here to tell you about the first couple of innings is John Miller.
Nori Aoki hitting the leadoff spot for the Giants. Aoki with a .305 batting average. He was on base 3 times yesterday, although with just 1 hit. He also had a walk and reached on an error. So here is Arrieta, just off the outside for ball 1. The official game time temperature is now at 77 degrees with extreme humidity. There's a bloop. Out goes Russell. 1 away. So that's all for Aoki. And here comes Gregor Blanco. The big question when you look at Arrieta's numbers, which are superb, and they were outstanding the second half of last year after they put him in the rotation. He had been with the Baltimore Orioles, and the big question is, because he's pitching so extremely well, is how did they get him from the Orioles? Doesn't it seem like the Orioles and every other team are looking for a guy just like Jake Arrieta? He was acquired in July 2 years ago in a deal that sent Scott Feldman and Steve Clevenger, who is a catcher, to Baltimore. And Scott Feldman, the former College of San Mateo pitcher, was an experienced pitcher who had been doing fairly well here in Chicago. The Orioles thought, well, we need somebody who's going to be better than Arrieta, who's not getting it done. As Blanco takes a called strike. A backdoor breaking ball. His 2013 season at Baltimore, he made 5 starts and had a 7.23 ERA and was back to the minor leagues. High and tight. And the year before, in 18 starts and 6 relief appearances, he had a 6.2 earned run average. So he obviously was getting knocked around as an Oriole, but seemed to get it all put together once the Cubs got him.
Yeah, that's the nightmare for organizations when they trade a guy and they think, well, what if he figures it out in another organization?
Because this guy has a big arm. Look at that fastball, 96 miles an hour. We've seen him already throwing 89-mile-an-hour slider or cutter.
And I mean, he stays at 96, 97.
And look at the pitchers that are up there with him in ERA. Greinke, DeGrom, Scherzer, Garrett Cole, Shelby Miller, and he's a little bit ahead of Kershaw. And that's the curveball, and he's got a good one. Hard, tight break of that curveball for the strikeout.
Now, this is one where you're thinking, yeah, I wish I would have put one of those fastballs in play, because he gets 2 strikes on you, and now you got to keep an eye on a couple of different ways he can strike you out. And that time it was with the big hard breaking ball.
So Arrieta has retired the first 2 Giants, and here is Matt Duffy. Arrieta is 29 years old. He's from Missouri originally, lives in Austin, Texas now in the offseason. Both of the guys they got from Baltimore in that trade have done well. Strop has become a staple in their bullpen. He's the 8th inning setup guy. And look at the sink on that 95-mile-an-hour fastball, called a strike on the inside. I guess we could say that all day long. Wow, look at that. This guy's got electric stuff. And Bruce Bochy said when you look at the video and the scouting reports, he's one of the elite right now in the league. That is a called strike 2. The curveball again. Duffy hitting .305, 9 homers, 51 batted in, a .343 on base average. Into the gap, right center field. That gets down. And all the way to the ivy. He's going to go past second. Soler relays it in, but into third, standing with a triple, is Matt Duffy. Well, that sort of punctures that aura of invincibility that Arrieta started the game with.
Well, pitch was up to Duffy, and we've seen Duffy do this a lot. He doesn't try to do too much. He just tries to hit it. If it's out over the plate, he'll go the other way. If it's inside, he'll pull it. And that's one of the reasons why this kid is good. And it's one of the reasons why he's going to be good for a long time.
And he makes it to third standing with his 5th triple of the year. He leads the club in that category now. Brandon Crawford is at 4. Here's Buster Posey to try and knock him in. 2 down. And he hit that hard cutter. 94 miles an hour with cut to it. And that ends the inning. Duffy stranded at third. Jake Peavy will take them out.
the hill. He'll face this lineup. It'll be Fowler and then the kid Schwarber, who's been fantastic. Cobham's going to hit third. Then it's Anthony Rizzo. 51 extra base hits. He's having a great year. Followed by Bryant, Soler, and Montero. Arrieta is hitting in the A spot, and then the shortstop Russell hitting ninth. So Jake Peavy, we talked earlier about his start in Atlanta. He was fantastic. This will be his ninth start of the year, his first against the Cubs. And his job right now, try to match Arrieta, which is not going to be an easy thing to do. But, he did win a Cy Young. You can't forget that.
Yes, there was that. Once you win one of those, it stays on your resume forever. Fowler back to the screen. Bruce Bochy was wondering how he would respond because they took him deeper into that game in Atlanta on Tuesday than he had been in his starts previous. And the count is 1-1 strike. Not that he was projecting that, hey, no way he'd have his best up today. They just said it's sort of an area that they have not visited yet this year. That cuts right in on the almost off the elbow of Dexter Fowler. Fowler hitting .240 with 11 home runs, .335 on base average. Strike, and it's 2-2.
And that's Jim Reynolds calling balls and strikes. Gonzalez, Schreiber, Colbreth from first to third. Peavy said, "Nah, I didn't like that ball. It was too fat." So it's another one from Jim Reynolds.
Two and two. Three and two. There's the big group of Giants fans all together down the left field line in their orange Giants gear. And a foul right over the Giants dugout into the crowd.
And behind Peavy in the outfield, Aoki, Blanco, and Pence. Duffy from third to first. Crawford, Adrianza, and Belt, and Buster Posey behind the dish. Giants know after they've seen Arrieta and his stuff that you better play clean defense today, because if Peavy's on his game, it's going to be a low-scoring, tight game.
And he cut that one in, down and in, and pulled foul again by Dexter Fowler into the crowd. You see the wind is a very light wind blowing across from right field toward left. Back to the screen. 90-mile-an-hour fastball that time for Peavy. So Fowler is hanging tough. This next pitch will be the 10th of the sequence from Peavy to Fowler. Popped up foul and out of play. So he's giving him a workout here as the very first batter of the game. Pitch number 11 from Peavy. And next to Fowler, backed away for a moment. Giants outfield pushed over toward the left field side against the switch hitter. The infield playing into Pole. And he pulls that one foul over off the screen in front of the Giants dugout. It goes on. And the fans are getting into it here. struck him out. It took a while, but on the 12th pitch, Jake Peavy with a breaking ball strikes out Fowler.
Yeah, finally, Fowler on a pitch up of all things. Peavy wins round 1. Although, I mean, if you're a leadoff hitter and you're walking back after striking out, you did your job. Your whole team got a chance to see what Peavy's got.
So here's young Kyle Schwarber, the 22-year-old phenom. 352 batting average, 436 on base. He had 2 more hits yesterday, 2 hits Friday, and a 3-run homer on Thursday. Just off the outside, and Peavy wasn't so sure.
Well, and that's a pitch that Peavy wants, and so would the guy on the mound for the Cubs.
Giants infield playing Schwarber to pull. And he pulls that one on the ground, and it hops up over the Giants dugout into the seats.
It's 3 foul balls hit really within area of the same 4 seats. And you see the assortment for Jake Peavy. And he will rely on that cutter. And why wouldn't you?
And that backs him off a little bit at 92 miles an hour. He buzzed him. And it's 2-1.
Well, the league is going to try a lot of different things now on this kid. And going in on his hands is going to be one of those things.
High, hard one. Blew it right by him.
Or going above the waist.
These Cubs rookies, Schwarber, Bryant, Soler, Russell, have just been wearing out the Giants pitching staff in this series. Especially Schwarber, but not just Schwarber. 2-2. And a soaring pop-up. Belt and Posey, but into the crowd. In the first 3 games, those 4 rookies hitting a combined .419 in this series. And in 3 games, they've had 5 doubles, 2 homers, and 14 RBIs. Just the 4 guys.
Well, I said this before. With the exception of this guy, Schwarber, the league has gotten those other guys out, and the Giants haven't.
Bryant hitting in the 240s. Russell was hitting in the 230s. Soler in the 260s when the Giants got to town. Now it's 3-2. Well, he has thrown a lot of pitches early on in this game. And there is Chris Coughlin on deck. Adrianza is well out into right field for this guy. And a foul that will go out of play off to the left. Onto the rooftop. 3-2. Giants head home right after the game. And they will open a homestand at AT&T Park Tuesday night against the Houston Astros. First place team in the American League West. Little interleague interlude for the Giants. Tuesday night and Wednesday afternoon at AT&T Park. And he walks him. So after a 12-pitch marathon with Dexter Fowler, which resulted in a strikeout, Schwarber coaches a walk out of Jake Peavy on an 8-pitch battle. So Peavy's at 20 pitches in the inning, and he's only faced 2 hitters.
Yeah, he's only got 1 out. Now here's where you hope you can get a double play ball.
That would be the most desirable outcome here, and to get it on the first pitch would be the best scenario. Schwarber, who attempted a steal here yesterday, you got to keep an eye on him. Called a strike. Well, we've been seeing the Cubs up and down the lineup get deep counts in this series. They've made the Giants pitchers. That was part of the problem for Vogelsong, who pitched so well in game 2 of the series Friday night, but they made him throw a lot of pitches early on. He had not started in nearly a month. 1 ball, 1 strike to Coughlin. Coughlin has only a .250 batting average, but 11 home runs and a .337 on base percentage. So he's another guy who tends to work the count and get a lot of walks. Crawford at short. Adrianza at second. Both pulled in a bit. Double play depth with Belt on the bag at first. And that one cut off the inside right toward the belt buckle of Coughlin. And it's 2-1.
And you also have to remember now, this is the first time Peavy's been in a stretch.
See Duffy wide of third. Two and 1 the count. And Schwarber dives safely back to the bag. Manny Gonzalez, the umpire there, made the call. Cubs have won 9 times in their last 10 games. Giants are facing their big 4 starters in this series. On the outside for a called strike 2. And Coughlin turns and kind of gets into the face of Jim Reynolds for a moment. Thought this ball was off the outside.
Well, I think a veteran guy's going to get that call, and Peavy did.
And the Pitch FX on the MLB app did show that one has been about 3-4 inches off the outside corner. Right there again. That one looked like it had a little cut coming back to the plate on top of that. So, and you really you wonder how can he take this right after he just had one called out.
He didn't believe him the first time, and that pitch may have been a little better.
Two down, 2 strikeouts for Peavy. And Rizzo comes up. With the new sound system here at Wrigley Field, they don't have walk-up music anymore for hitters. It's a full-scale walk-up rock concert for every hitter.
Yep, it is a concert.
And that's back out of play.
Hey, the sun. And we had horrible weather reports, but the reports got a little better as the morning went on, and now the sun's out. Let's hope it stays that way.
I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way.
We have a concert now in our booth.
Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. Going to be a bright, sunshiny day. And I thank you.
Were you ever a DJ?
I was a classical disc jockey when I was in college.
Does that count?
Not really.
No.
Now the Symphony and Orchestra de Bayerischen Rundfunks performing Carlos, Carmina Burana, Lucia Pop, featured soloist under the baton of Eugen Joachim and the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra.
And then what? You can lay out for 20 minutes?
Well, then you play the whole album. All you had to do was you had to turn it over when the first side ended.
You could go get a burger. Right?
It was the perfect scenario for me personally. Left center field. Rizzo, base hit. Over to third goes Schwarber. And now another one of the rookies, Chris Bryant, will come up.
Now this one out over the plate, and Rizzo really does like the ball down. Did a nice job, much like what Matt Duffy did in the first inning with the Giants. He just goes the other way. He doesn't take much of a stride. Almost looked like he shortened up his swing just a little bit against Peavy. So that'd be a pretty interesting battle. Peavy and Bryant. Bryant's never seen him before.
Bryant had a home run against Kane yesterday, and that's a half swing foul. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. That had a lot of movement running down and in.
testing the kid out early with something in on his hands.
So a big early moment. Jake Peavy has now thrown 30 pitches in the inning, and he needs some good stuff right here against an outstanding young hitter. And he chased. Good hard cutter.
Well, it helps if you're Brian if you get pitches like this. And obviously that's what Peavy's going to try to avoid. And that came on an 0-2 pitch. So I'm sure that frustrated Matt Cain, because over the years 0-2 is right where he wants to be.
Peavy looks Rizzo back to first. Yeah, Cain. I guess the writers were asking him afterward about that pitch. He said, well, I wasn't trying to hang a curveball on an 0-2 count. He's as much exasperated by that kind of stuff as everybody else. Pence in a hurry. Still coming. No. 1-0 Cubs. Right off the end of the bat, and he dunked it in. Schwarber scores. Rizzo the third.
Well, Peavy did everything right, and you can't stop this. And now Peavy's got to gather himself and try to get the next guy out, because he did everything right.
So here is Soler. Bryant has been striking out an alarming amount of the time. He struck out 132 times this year. He's back to the bag at first. You've got to keep an eye on him. He has 11 steals. And he said that he's been working exhaustively with the hitting instructor, Sean Malley, on a couple of adjustments with his swing to make more contact than he's been making. And it may have paid off right there. Like you say, pretty good pitch by Peavy, and he didn't just swing right through it. He shortened up his stroke and got the bloop single.
Hey, if you're Peavy, you're thinking, well, if he hits the ball a little better, it's an out.
Jorge Soler, another young Cub rookie, just off the outside, and Peavy now is wondering why that was not called a strike.
Peavy's thinking, if on the other side of the plate, if that's a strike to Coughlin, then this has got to be a strike to Soler.
But this will be the 35th pitch of the inning for Jake Peavy. Soler, who is hitting .270. That is a strike right on the corner at the knees. And it's 2-1. Did you see the Cubs? Even the guys that are known, like Soler, has been real free swingers, have been having a very patient approach.
Yep. Well, 11 or 12 pitch at bat to the first guy always helps as well.
And that good hard slider. That's 2-2. Yeah, it's like it has an effect the rest of the inning, even though he struck out Dexter Fowler.
Yeah, absolutely.
Took 12 pitches to do it. Schwarber, the second hitter, an 8-pitch battle and a walk. Rizzo at third, Bryant at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. A run in. Whoa. Very close again.
Bochy let Jim Reynolds know that he thought that was a strike.
They had that movement coming back to the plate. And the pitch FX does show that one as being a strike up near the top of the strike zone. And not just on the black either. Runner goes from first. Duffy. And the inning is over. Well, what a battle for Jake Peavy. And 38 pitches thrown. 1-0 Cubs. Day game. Then Thursday, the Nationals come in. Big showdown series with the Nats, whom the Giants battled in October last year. Saturday the 15th, the first 40,000 fans receive a 2-for-1 flight voucher from Virgin America. Sunday, a week from today, on the 16th, the first 20,000 fans receive a Juan Marichal replica statue courtesy of Coca-Cola. That's a replica of that statue out there near the O'Doul Bridge. sfgiants.com/tickets. Hope to see you when the Giants get home. Big games against two really tough teams. Hunter Pence, and that sinker in there from Arrieta for a called strike. Pence hitting .299. Might have broken his bat on that one. And Bryant throws him out. One away.
Here's our Togo's big play the Togo's way yesterday. Belt hit one into the basket off of Kyle Hendricks. His 5th home run of the road trip. And check out the basket. Without the basket, maybe an out, maybe a double. In this particular case, gone.
The Cubs go into the overshift. 3 infielders to the right of second. And he shows bunt. The shortstop Russell is shaded a little bit over from straightaway shortstop toward third, just in case Belt were to lay down a bunt. All the other infielders are to the right. The third baseman, Chris Bryant, is the shallow right fielder right now. Big curveball. 0-2. You see how they're planning. That's Bryant out there in right field. The third baseman's the only guy who has to move when they go into the overshift. He's what, 25 feet out into the outfield. But everybody else stays at their normal position when the Cubs shift. And he got a piece of that curve. Brandon Crawford is on deck. 1-0. The Cubs leading. The Cubs have scored in the first inning in all 4 games. Giants have fallen behind in every game of this series. Giants have not scored in the first inning in any of the games. The high fastball. He got a piece of that at 96 miles an hour. Jake Arrieta on the mound. This is a guy who, he was no overnight sensation. Until he arrived at Wrigley Field, he'd gone through a lot. Minor leagues, a lot of disappointment in the big leagues in Baltimore. It's all come together for him here in Chicago. And that turns out to be a pretty good trade for the Cubs to get him and Stroke.
Absolutely.
0-2. And it's low. Took something off that one. 1-2 the count. On now a bright, sunshiny day. Beautiful here. After the heavy overcast earlier. And a sharp dropping curve for the strikeout. 2 down.
Well, here's that hard breaking ball. It is tough to lay off of. Especially for Belt. This is the first time that he's faced Arrieta. Round 2 may be different, but it is tough to lay off of that hard breaking ball.
Brandon Crawford having quite the year. 19 homers, 71 driven in. And first ball swinging. There's Rizzo. And Arrieta covers for the putout. 3 up and 3 down. The shutdown inning there for Arrieta. Jake Peavy has to go right back to work.
Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by Momo's, a San Francisco tradition.
1-0 Cubs as we head to the last of the second. There's the view along the Chicago River behind the Sun-Times building, which was on the right there. There's a ball to Miguel Montero back in the lineup for the Cubs. The catcher, the former Arizona D-back that was acquired in the offseason to lend more experience for this young pitching staff as he hits a foul, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Montero just got back into the lineup from the disabled list yesterday, and he had the big hit. That's the kind of hot streak the Cubs are on. He hadn't done anything for a while injured. He hits a soaring fly ball up into the haze. Plenty of room for Blanco, and 1 away. And then all of a sudden he came up in a tie game yesterday in the 5th inning. George Contos just came in from the bullpen to face him, and on a 2-strike pitch he got the base hit. It didn't look like such a bad pitch either.
No, it didn't. And that's kind of the way it's going. But you got to forget about the bloop hits like the one that Bryant got, and you got to get some of your own.
Deep right field. Arrieta hitting that one way back over Pence. Arrieta's going to go for 3. Blanco's throw offline and late. A triple. Arrieta hitting in the 8th spot, and he hits a triple. He had a home run earlier this year, and Hunter Pence went all the way back on this one, and he wasn't quite in the right spot, and he was having to negotiate out there. This is the only ballpark where there's no padding on the outfield wall. You got that beautiful ivy, but right behind it are hard bricks.
It hit the door. If it hits the ivy, it probably doesn't bounce like it did, but it hit the door.
So that doorway, you got the big carom and a triple for Arrieta, who earlier this year had a home run. Gets his first triple here. And Addison Russell, who's been a real tough out for the Giants in this series. Giants infield in, not all the way. It's short in second. In, I guess you'd call it halfway in the middle infield. Russell has lifted his average to 241 with the Giants in town. Popped up. And that is just back behind the Giants dugout. Posey and Belt started over.
Well, you don't know what's going to happen if it goes into the ivy, but this doesn't. And the difference is 90 feet. It's either going to be a double or a triple, and it's a bad break. It hits the door. It ends up being a triple.
And you might say, well, he looked a little tentative going back on that one, but he's been beat up this year, except for that broken arm in spring training on a Cubs minor leaguer drilled him with a pitch. And that put him on the shelf for a good long while. Well, that should be deep enough to get Arrieta home. Blanco running forward, and the throw is much too late, and it is 2-0 Cubs.
Well, that was a location mistake by Peavy. Buster Posey had set up way out over the plate. Watch where the ball goes. Too much of the plate. And with Peavy being ahead in the count like he was, he didn't want to give Addison Russell anything to hit at that point.
So 2-0 Cubs. 2 down, nobody on. Here's Dexter Fowler. And a pop foul out of play.
If I'm Peavy and I think we got another 12 pitch at bat coming up, I'd just walk him. Walk him or either hit him in the toe. Just
off the outside. Well, Steve Carlton, the Hall of Famer, told me that the Giants used to have a guy named Ron Hunt back in the late 60s, 1970.
Yeah.
He would get hit a lot, but he also fouled off a bunch of pitches. And Carlton said every time I faced him, it'd be like 10, 12 pitch at bat. So if he was up with 2 down, nobody on, something like that, he'd just drill him.
Yeah.
He said, I drilled him on the first pitch. I just saved 12 pitches.
Get him with the knuckleball so it doesn't hurt.
Because Ron Hunt, until Craig Biggio came along and broke his record, he was the guy who got hit more often than anybody. That was a part of his game. 3-1 to Fowler. 2 down, nobody on. A run in. Down the right field line. Foul. You saw Manny Gonzalez hustling down the line, trailing that one to get a close-up look.
Well, from up here, it looked like they even could have called it fair, but we got no argument from Brandon Hyde, the first base coach, and he had as good a look at it as anybody.
Well, the Cubs, I'm sure, have been looking at the video, and Joe Madden has informed the plate umpire, Jim Reynolds, that they want just a moment to check it out. Dave Martinez, the bench coach, on the phone to their video room in the clubhouse. No.
So I'm saying right now that Joe Madden and his staff just didn't believe first base coach Brandon Hyde.
Well, Hyde did have almost as good a look at it as did the umpire. But you have nothing to lose checking it out on the video replay.
Absolutely not.
Joe Torre was in town today from the commissioner's office, and they've been going to every ball club just asking about feedback on the video review. That ball is hit deep, but Pence, plenty of room. Now the wind knocking it down. He's coming way back in and makes the catch, so it was not hit deep at all. We head to the third.
Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by PG&E. Together, building a better California.
The Giants are down again early on here at Wrigley Field. 2-0 Chicago as Adrianza leads off in the third against Arrieta. To tell you all about it, here's Dwayne Kuiper.
And the pitch and a bunt. And it's bunted to the shortstop, and that's going to be a base hit.
Well done.
I'm guessing that Adrianza was trying to bunt that ball to the right side. And we're going to make this our Ford right choice. See where the angle was. Nope. He tried to push it. He did exactly what he was trying to do. And that's a very nice job.
We've seen Blanco do that over the years as a Giant, but more of a kind of a swinging bunt.
Yeah,
he runs up and then kind of swipes at the ball.
That was perfect. Here's Peavy. And Peavy takes high, 1 ball and no strikes. Arrieta's been in the stretch one time, and that was to Buster Posey in the first.
Well, as perfect as that bunt was by Adrianza, I think Bruce Bochy, the Giants, wouldn't mind if he went ahead and did that a lot more often.
Once or twice a game. Peavy got a piece of it. It's a ball and a strike. Nori Aoki is on deck. 2-0 Chicago here in the 3rd inning. Good speed at first. Peavy bunts it foul again. He's not going to be happy with that. It's 1-2. You mentioned that Jake Peavy is a Cy Young Award winner. And one of the ways you win an award like that is by doing everything right, including laying down sacrifice bunts, fielding your position, holding runners on. Adrianza being checked on. In at third is Bryant, as you would expect. And it's high. 2-2. When you show bunt like Peavy's doing and you get into a little bit of a crouch, you figure anything at your belt or above is going to be a ball. But when you get in a crouch, those pitches that are high look so good. As Peavy bounces this one to Bryant, nobody's at second. And now Coughlin just got there in time. So the Cubs caught a break, because Coughlin was cheating over trying to cover first for the bunt.
Well, let's take a look. It's a foot race between Coughlin and Adrianza, and there he takes the throw, hits the bag just in the nick of time. The bluff of the bunt by Peavy, and then the one hopper to Bryant. Now Bryant could have just said, "Oh, the heck with it," and thrown the ball to first base.
He could have,
because he really ran a risk there of not getting anybody out.
That's right, throwing it into the outfield. So here's Aoki, either on the swing or the call. It is a strike, and it's 0-1.
His manager was praising Chris Bryant, and he said, "Hey, I don't think about his batting average. Everybody keeps bringing up his batting average." And he says, "This guy is the most outstanding young player I've seen." And that beans Aoki.
So Aoki gets hit right in the helmet.
Dave Grester, the Giants trainer, immediately out of the dugout. The first Giant there. Just a horrific moment.
Assisting the Cubs trainer has come out. This is one where if you get hit that solid, even if you get up and you feel like you might be okay, you really have to be careful.
That's Kosuke, the interpreter, as they have a protocol of questions and reading the eyes and that sort of thing, physical indications for a possible concussion. But when asking the questions, Kosuke's there to make sure that Aoki knows everything about what's being asked, and that Greshner knows what his answers are.
Yeah, Bruce Bochy's looking into the dugout. And he's going to come out.
Well, we will try and get word from the clubhouse as the game goes along, and hopefully he's going to be okay. But they have learned in baseball not to take chances with this kind of an injury.
There's no way he could get out. You're right. It was a hard cutter, and it kept moving into Aoki. As he tried to get away, but that ball keeps coming at you.
Well, here's a look at it again. Oh, man. 92 miles an hour on this one. He had his response. So Peavy moves to second, and now Pagan in as the pinch runner for Aoki at first.
So Blanco hits it right on the nose. Can't get away. It's going to find you.
The super slow-mo, the X-mo. I don't know how much more quickly he could have dodged out of the way of that one.
No, he had no chance. So here's Duffy, who tripled in the second. And he takes low, 1 ball and no strikes.
Too bad there for Blanco. He hit that ball hard, but just a liner that would not get down in front of Dexter Fowler a moment ago.
Peavy at second, Pagan at first, and a strike to even the count. Buster Posey on deck. And a soft line drive. This is going to end the inning. Giants strand a pair. Cubs are coming up. It's 2-0. Marty Lurie along with Jeffrey Leonard and other former Giants as we set sail on the Celebrity Silhouette on Sunday, December 6th. Check it out, sfgiants.com/cruise. Peavy takes the mound. It's 2-0 here at Wrigley Field. It'll be Schwarber, Coghlan, and Rizzo, 3 left-handed hitters to face Jake Peavy, who in 2 innings has thrown 52 pitches. Pagan is now in center. Blanco moves to left. Schwarber walked and then scored in the first inning. Here he fouls it back, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Off the line at third is Duffy. Inside, it's a ball and a strike. Schwarber caught on Thursday, and then the last 2 games, and then the one today playing in the outfield. There's a pitch in tight. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Foul. It's 2-2. Cubs and Giants with a day off tomorrow. Giants will open up at home on Tuesday against the Astros. Cubs are home 17 days in the middle of these 17 days, or maybe it's at the end. They play the White Sox over on the other side of town. Schwarber strikes out.
Yeah, I think it's right in the middle of that stretch. They play Milwaukee here this coming week. Next weekend they go down to the south side to play the White Sox, and then they come right back here to play the Tigers and Atlanta all the following week.
Dave will be in innings 4, 5, and 6. John will head over to the KNBR side.
He's got the TV look today, doesn't he? Sort of like the Hollywood movie star look.
He's got the shades on. Either that or Rush Street was a lot of fun last night for Dave. His wife Jess was in town, so maybe they both hit the town.
It was one of those days, I think, where he arrived at the ballpark, and that's just when he was getting in from the night.
Ball and a strike to Coghlan, who struck out looking in the first.
He went to the place that Joe Madden recommended, where Joe Madden lives on Rush Street while he's in Chicago.
There's a strike to Coghlan.
He says pretty good. Nico's Italian restaurant at the Thompson Hotel.
Joe's going to wonder why there's such a long line outside of this little Italian place that nobody's ever heard of. And then everybody in line is, well, where are you from? Oh, San Francisco. Oh, I had that conversation with John Miller.
Oh. Well, Dave said it was a Saturday night. They went over there. No line. They didn't have a reservation. They were seated right away. And he says, and it was as good as Madden said it was.
It's like now in San Francisco, the traffic is so bad with all the construction. If you have a shortcut, do you share that with people?
If I knew myself that I would be able to figure out how I found that shortcut again, I'd tell them.
Well, I do have a couple of shortcuts from the ballpark to the Bay Bridge. I don't tell anybody.
Well, if you start telling everybody, then it's not a shortcut anymore, is it?
Affelt and Buster Posey.
And they're jamming it up.
Yeah,
they probably blabbed it to everybody.
If I get behind them, I'm like, well, what did I do? And another pop-up, and that's going to be out of play.
We had a bunch of games where when I would head south on 280 away from the ballpark, they closed almost all the lanes on the freeway, and it was just bumper to bumper. So I started going off on Mariposa and whatnot into the neighborhoods looking for a quicker way. And I ended up on Vermont Street. You know how Lombard Street's the crookedest street in the world?
Right.
Well, I found a spot in Vermont that is as crooked or even more crooked.
Hyde. It's 3-2.
It would be a miracle if I could ever find it again. If I would, I'd take you over there because no tourists are there. I was the only way. It was pretty lonely too when you're making these little hairpin turns.
So you enjoyed it?
In a way, I enjoyed it, especially after I survived it. Because the Lombard Street's pretty well lit. There's people everywhere, and it's beautiful. This is just an actual, real crooked street on the side of a hill.
I love Lombard Street in tennis shoes.
Well, then you would be the perfect guy for Vermont Street.
I'm serious. There isn't a street. There isn't a street, a main street, a busy street in San Francisco that doesn't have a crane involved.
There's a lot of construction going on.
Goodness. This will be Blanco in left field. Long at bat by Coughlin. And it's only really a complaint if you're trying to get somewhere in a decent amount of time. If you're in a hurry, forget it. Then it's actually your fault for not leaving earlier. Here's Rizzo. Rizzo singled into left center field in the first. 2-0 Chicago here in the third. Back. And it's 0-1. See the year for Rizzo when you look at his extra base hits. And that's in the major leagues. So.
Short list, only Harper and Rizzo in the National League with over 50 extra base hits and over 50 walks, and Trout and Teixeira. Teixeira's having an incredible comeback year in the American League.
It's going to be in the seats behind home plate. It's 0-2.
The Teixeira, by the way, I read this article where he decided he'd had so many injury problems and whatnot that he had a goal to be in the best shape that was possible for him to be in, and he went into a whole different kind of a diet, and he's gluten-free now.
Tap foul, and it's 0-2.
I don't know how he got a piece of that one, just barely. So the gluten-free Teixeira, and he's never been better.
I'd like to know, of all the Hall of Famers, how many of those guys were gluten-free?
Well, if Teixeira has a few more years like he's having this year,
he might be the first one.
He may be the first one.
Out of play. There's a gentleman 2 booths down that's in the Hall of Fame. I guarantee you he was not gluten-free.
Cal Ripken?
Yes.
Cal here doing a national telecast of this game. And I was there in Baltimore for a long part of his consecutive game streak. He did take great care of himself.
Got him, and that'll end the inning.
You want me to bring you back some pasta when I return from radio later?
Gluten-free. I'll be in. That's not gluten-free. Dave Fleming will be in. It's 2-0. Here's our McDonald's True Stories. Home runs on the road this season in the National League. Who's number one? Well, this is good news for this game. It's the Giants, as Buster Posey stands in. Then the Dodgers, followed by the Rockies, Nationals, and Cubs. Giants on this road trip, 15 big flies. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Kite.
Posey takes a strike. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, and not to be a downer about it, but it is a little bit of a downer. You hit 15 home runs on a road trip, and it's not been a great trip. Usually with the Giants, you expect those home run totals, a lot of wins.
Well, it really, the Monday night game is the one.
Yeah.
I mean, how many home runs did they have in that one? 4?
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to always go back to that game, but that was the one that hurt. 2-1 to Buster Posey. Buster bounced out to short. He's 0 for 1. Taps it foul. It's 2-2.
Well, the psychology of this stuff, it's fragile. You know, that one game makes you think of the trip in entirely different terms. It's unfair. It shouldn't really be like that. You play 162. It's one game, but that's kind of the way you think of it.
Well, you go by. Yeah, okay, yeah. Take one game at a time. Yeah, maybe you do, but you go by series. You go by trips.
Yeah.
You go by streaks.
One thing we know about the Giants, they are streaky.
Yeah, and in order to keep from being streaky, you have to win a game like today. Payoff pitch to Buster Posey. Not close.
Yeah, it's a good start for the Giants here in the 4th.
So here's Pence. That's the first walk issued by Arrieta.
That's a long hashtag.
It's all right.
Life is worth driving
so
for.
The hashtag longer than the drive?
If you're going to drive 2,000 miles, it better be a long hashtag.
Here's Pence. Right there for a strike at 96. Pence has got 7 home runs. Remember, his season cut really short. A couple of times on the disabled list. Way outside to even the count.
Well, he got jammed his first time up, but this to me is the kind of pitcher we often see Pence's best at bats against. A hard thrower, aggressive pitcher. Pence kind of likes to match that aggression.
And a target by Montero. We'll let you know what area Arrieta is going to, and this is. Well, he's setting up right down the middle of the plate. Look out. Giants are going to start to get a little unhappy if this keeps happening.
Yep.
And they should. Remember, it was a spring training game where a Cubs pitcher broke Pence's hand.
Not happy.
He does not get unhappy very often. Two balls, 2 strikes. Belt on deck. Now you got your heads up for that hard breaking ball.
That was more like the slower curveball. I mean, how many starters do you see throw a 90-mile-an-hour slider?
Yeah, I know.
He does. Not many. Some of you see the closers who have that real hard biting slider. Not that many starting pitchers do.
That was a good take by Pence. We'll see what he does here, 3-2. Double play ball. Coughlin with the double clutch allows Pence to beat it out.
Pence wanted a hit bad.
Watch the double clutch. Yep. Too late. Yeah, I mean, that's the price you pay when you playing a guy a bit out of position. I know that there was a time when he played a lot of the infield, but that was 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, they're doing this to get Schwarber's bat in the lineup every day. I'm thinking he's not going to be the everyday catcher, but they are paying a price for it.
Inside to Belt. You see career starts, a few at third, but most of them in the outfield.
Yeah, he made his debut at that position, has hardly played there ever since.
Tap foul to even the count. Overshift is on. Belt with a couple attempts to try to bunt has forced Russell to come in at short, but now he moves back to his normal spot. And it's outside, close pitch.
And I think you brought it up yesterday, but Joe Maddon's probably thinking, man, this guy's got 5 home runs on the road trip. He's swinging the bat with a lot of power. If he tries to bunt, we'll take it. I think he's okay with that.
Yeah, I think he probably is too. Three and one.
Well, one thing the Giants are doing, they're starting to grind out some more of these at bats. We'll see if they can turn that into some actual run production.
Well, Belt can lean on one here if he gets what he likes. Pence goes, swing and a miss, throw down to second. It hits Pence, and he can go to third. And for whatever reason, Russell didn't get there in time. I mean, that looked very odd. It'll be a steal for Pence. And lucky Pence didn't get hurt here, because when he slid in, he was really totally exposed. Hit him right in the shin. It's 3-2 to Belt.
I think if he hadn't been a little turned around, he would have gotten up and gone to third.
Got him. Strikeout number 3 and the second on Belt. Believe it or not, this was away from the target, and it had that movement back into the zone. So now it's up to Crawford.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough pitch. Starts off the plate inside, he reads it as a ball, and then it comes back right into the strike zone at 95.
So here's Crawford, who bounced out to Rizzo. And he taps one foul. Wind is, at times, it's been blowing hard, but other times not so much. We saw the wind knock down a high pop-up by Fowler, more of a pop-up fly ball, but it was hit extremely high. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I mean, for a second, he thought Pence wasn't going to be able to come in and get it. It was knocked down so much.
It's 1-1 to Crawford. Crawford skies one out to right. It'll be Soler moving over, but he'll give way to Fowler, and that's going to end the inning. Giants waste the leadoff hitter reaching. It remains 2-0.
SFN Bay Area is brought to you by Ring Central, the easy-to-use business communication solution.
A week from today, Sunday, August 16th, the first Los Gamers Day. Erwin Agueros hosts a Q&A session in both Spanish and English with lots of guests, including the Hall of Famer Juan Marichal. And the Los Gamers special ticket includes a Marichal t-shirt and a ticket to the Giants-Nats games. Tickets available at sfgiants.com/special events. Back here at Wrigley, where we go to the bottom of the fourth inning, and the Cubs leading the Giants 2-0.
And here's Bryant, who takes a pitch inside for a ball. Peavy tried to go away on Bryant in the first inning, and he did, but Bryant still managed to poke one that blooped a base hit into right field and knock in a run. And I think ideally they'd like to jam Bryant. He's a fairly tall hitter. There's a strike at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, to me, that one swing, that one pitch was sort of emblematic of the whole series. Good pitch, poor contact, and it blooped in and scored a run. I think you got to give the Cubs hitters credit. They have grinded out at bats all series long, but Giants just are not getting a lot of luck even when they do make good pitches.
Well, Bryant had something to hit there, and he fouls it into the seats. Three and 2. Here's our Geico quote. Bruce Bochy on Brandon Crawford in the type of game that he had yesterday. He said he had a terrific game, didn't he? The fans here got to see how good he is. Yeah, he was fabulous yesterday.
And
And that may have been the best one of them all. But it's hard to judge his great plays because he's made so many of them. Here's Soler. And a base hit. Boy, he swings the bat, doesn't he?
He does. Well, you can see why they think the home run power is going to come, because he swings hard, and we have seen that same kind of swing and line drive all series long.
I mean, he's up there to swing. And when he does swing, he takes a healthy hack. Here's Montero. Montero hit a fly ball to right field in the second. So Peavy in trouble. He's thrown 78 pitches. Throws the first pitch high to Montero.
I mean, it really has been remarkable. The Cubs have only sent 15 hitters to the plate before this at bat. 78 pitches and 15 hitters.
Two and 0. So now Peavy's got to come in. The pitcher, Jake Arrieta's on deck. So Montero's going to lay in the weeds for this pitch from Peavy. That's exactly what he was doing. It's 2-1. Montero's got 6 hits and 24 lifetime at-bats against Jake Peavy. Part of those 6 hits, a couple of doubles and a home run. Got fouled. Peavy comes back. It's 2-2. Crawford shading Montero to pull. Adrianza a couple of steps to pull as well. Big pitch coming up to Montero as Peavy is taking his time, and now Mr. Posey wants to talk to Peavy about it.
Well, one thing we know about Peavy, it's 82 pitches in. He is not going to give in, and so if he has to blow it all out, and this is his last inning, that's what he'll do to try to keep this a 2-run game.
This meeting on the mound brought to you by Ring Central, a leader in team communications. And Reynolds is going to break it up. I mean, it's more of a conversation that Buster's got an idea and Peavy's got an idea, and then they discuss it. And then it's Peavy's call, obviously. And the 2-2. Get up the middle. Crawford's got it to Adrianza. Quick toss to first. Got him. Nice play. Montero thinks he beat it out. I mean, everybody does that now, right?
Yeah, he
went a close play at first. No, I beat it out.
He went to Kembe Mutombo with the finger wag. That was a spectacular attempt, and already Joe Madden, I think, has called the umpires over. Yeah, the Cubs may win that one.
Well, they've won a ball, haven't they?
They almost, maybe one the Giants have won.
So anyway, this replay review is presented by Xfinity. I think they got Schwarber yesterday on the stolen base. That was the one the Giants won. As Bruce Bochy's now coming out. He doesn't come out very often when he's not going to take a pitcher out, but he's going to have a word with Peavy because I think he knows that this is going to get overturned.
Yeah, so he wants to plot out the defense with the pitcher coming up, all the Cubs possibilities. We'll get the ruling here. And yeah. It was still a great attempt, and the Giants did get that out at second. Well, I mean, the Cubs have options. They got squeeze options. They've got a pitcher who's been swinging the bat well.
There was a time when Montero was a little heavier and he was with the D-backs. He wouldn't have beat it out.
Yeah, he might be right about that.
So here's Arrieta, who tripled in the second inning. Peavy goes to third. He has to throw the ball. You can't fake it anymore.
Well, they want Bryant as close to third as possible. And who knows, maybe also you get a tip of the hand if Arrieta's a little over anxious. Maybe he shows you something on that first move. I don't think he did.
Strike, and it's 0-1.
That's been the pattern in this series. The bullpen has had to get going early. And they'll get going here in the fourth. It's probably getting ready for Schwarber, who is still a few hitters away, but Lopez will be the guy.
There's a bunt, and it's going to roll foul. So a bit of a safety squeeze.
Yeah, Montero was the guy who took off. So that was interesting. Bryant stayed put. Montero took off. And Arrieta tried to bunt it on the first baseline. If you run the safety squeeze in this spot with a slower runner at first, you do run the risk of bunting into a double play, which negates the whole idea of the squeeze. They sent Montero. Now 0-2. That will change the strategy.
Maybe now pitching for the strikeout. Runner goes. And that's a strikeout.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they were just so fearful of the ground ball double play that they're okay with that and give Addison Russell, who swung the bat really well, a chance.
I don't get why he felt like he needed to send Montero, however.
Yeah.
I mean, unless if it's a decent bunt, first base side, you still feel like Brian can score, but it didn't look like Brian had any intentions of creeping down the line.
I'm with you.
So here's Russell, who's been a tough out for the Giants. Center field. Side retired.
Good job by Peavy.
Fifth inning coming up. Dave Fleming's doing the play-by-play. I remembered.
Whoa!
Woohoo! It is a good time to be here at Wrigley Field. A lot of Giants fans here. Girls are having fun. Yeah. We're going to take a look at this family a little later. It's pretty cool. Here's Adrianza in a swing and a miss. Adrianza bunted for a hit in the third. And here's Dave.
Oh, you almost had me. Yeah, what'd you think of that bunt hit by Adrianza?
I thought it was awesome. You should do it all the time.
He swings away here. He's behind to the count 0-2. He's got a lot of speed.
You should once a game for sure. And just because you did it once and it was successful, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try it again in the same game.
It's another spot where he's leading off an inning with the pitcher on deck. I mean, it would be a big play again. Not going to do it now. Takes that curveball. He's done a good job of this series of being patient and at least waiting for a pitch that he can handle. He hasn't always had a hit when he swings the bat, but he's grinded out some good at bats, I think. That one is swung on and missed. Fastball, and Marietta just blew it by him.
We spotted this family earlier. It's great. It's mom, dad, and I think 3 boys, and it's a great example of how mom really doesn't get to eat her own food.
No.
She's got to worry about the youngest one. Everybody else is chowing down, and the only one that's not is her.
Hold this, Mom.
And then the little one gave Mom something to hold. And I have no idea what it was, but Mom ended up flipping it right into her mouth and ate it.
Well, that
could have been a weenie that ended up on the ground for a while.
It was mashed up.
Look at it. Here's Mom. Okay. Yeah. Oh.
Another one.
Can I get a bite? Oh, man.
There's lunch for you.
And the little guy is about to hand her something.
2 to PV is a ball. Yeah, they got their hands full. That is strike 3 call. Perfect pitch right on the outside. 5th strikeout for Arrieta. 2 down.
But Mom's doing a good job. And the little one is not going to stray too far from Mom.
No. At least have contact.
That's the way it was in our house. Glenn got the special meal.
He did.
What? He gets the hot dog? What?
We never got that.
We're having a casserole. He gets the hot dog.
2 down for Pagan. This is his first at bat. Remember, he came in as a pinch runner when Aoki got hit in the helmet. A pitch from Arrieta, had to leave the game. We hope Aoki's okay. Pagan off the bench, chops one. It is a foul ball. It was scary.
It was a cutter that just kept pouring in right at him. Could not get out of the way.
He was trying. He did walk off with some help. So I'm sure we'll get word after the game about whether the Giants are going through the concussion protocol or not. Pagan, foul ball, 1-2. Two down, nobody on. Cubs with a run in the first, one in the second. The 1-2. There's that big curveball. 2-2. Yeah, a different scenario with the Giants bullpen. Peavy probably would have been lifted for a pinch hitter But they've already used Pagan off the bench. They're desperate to get outs from the starting pitchers. So even down, Peavy hit here in the 5th. That one is fouled off. I mean, it's an example of how a manager's got to manage not only based on game situation. There are a lot of times where you got to manage based on season situation.
Absolutely.
You just can't make the moves that you'd like to make. I mean, Peavy has already thrown 87 pitches in this game in the first 4. Two. Pagan staying alive.
Well, if your starters aren't going to go past 4 innings in the first 3 games in this series, then you're going to have to do a bunch of different things.
Yep. It's already been a long road trip. Giants didn't have any off days. They played 3 in Texas, 3 in Atlanta, and didn't always get length out of the starters in those games either. And you come here to Wrigley, and literally 4 innings from each of the first 3 starters of this series. 2-2. Pagan hanging in there. We saw Lopez getting loose while the bottom of the 4th was going on. Now it's Cantos.
Either that or George is just letting the people that he left tickets for, letting them know that he's out in the bullpen.
Yeah, well,
he's doing his yoga now.
I am flexible. I am strong. Here I am.
And I am single.
Three-two. Pagan goes down swinging. Not happy about it. He battled. That was a 9-pitch at bat, but ultimately Arrieta strikes out the side. Chowing down here at Wrigley. 2-0 Cubs.
Hold this, Mom. Hold it, will you? I'll eat that.
Giants Baseball on CSN Bay Area is brought to you by Pete's Cold Brew. Keep it smooth.
Well, at long last, we love being in Chicago. Fun city to travel to, but we're headed home. After a 10-day road trip, Giants will start the homestand on Tuesday. Astros in for 2 interleague play with the first-place club in the American League West. And then Wednesday day game tickets available, sfgiants.com/tickets. PV to Fowler. He swings at the first pitch. And that one will be right over the Giants bullpen. Strike one. What's that, the 20th pitch that Fowler has gotten out of PV in this game?
Unbelievable.
I really think he set the tone for the whole game. Well, Strickland and Lopez are warming. George is still stretching, by the way. Giants bullpen update. 0-1 to Fowler is a ball.
Don't give our salespeople any ideas about this. Bullpen update is brought to you by
strike two to Fowler. Davies 1-2. Fowler hanging in there. Well, nothing has been easy for PV. Right for the start, right for that first at bat from this guy. 12 pitches to start the game. But he has hung in there. Kept the Giants in it. That's a ball. 2-2.
Well, I mean, look, at the end of the game, the question you always ask is, did he give your team a chance to win? And so far, he absolutely has.
2-2. He got him swinging. Man, that cutter was moving.
This is what Dave's talking about. Away from the target. Why not? Throwing to the target against Fowler hasn't worked.
Not worked.
I mean, it's worked by getting him out, but the number of foul balls he's hit is ridiculous. I mean, plus if you're talking about PB stuff and Arrieta stuff, they have the same amount of strikeouts.
Which, if you watch the radar gun, you wouldn't think that would be the case.
I mean, he has been in trouble a couple of times, but he's thrown the ball well.
So now Schwarber. Ball one to him. It's the first out a Giant starter has gotten in the 5th inning in this series, which kind of tells you how the whole thing has gone. Schwarber has walked and struck out against PV. That one is pulled foul.
Well, he's a puzzle right now.
He is.
I mean, that's the way Mike likes to put it when he talks about young hitters that are swinging the bat well. He's a puzzle. And how do you figure it out? And the Giants have tried to jam him. They've gone away. They've gone up. And right now, he still is a puzzle.
Skies that one to left, and we'll see if Blanco has a play. All the way back toward that wall, and he makes the catch. 2 down.
Well, maybe the fastball right down the middle of the plate is the solution.
Just fit that right in. There's the final piece of the puzzle.
Tell him what's coming. Because that was a pretty good pitch to hit.
It was. 2 down for Coughlin. Well, I think in a way it is a little bit of a disadvantage. You can't complain about it because both teams same circumstance. But here we are. It's August 9th. This is the first time the Giants have seen the Cubs all year. So they haven't had a chance to see a lot of these young guys in person. You'll see them again shortly in a couple weeks back home.
And, you know, maybe at that point, the Giants may not have solved the puzzle with Schwarber, but maybe another team did.
Yep.
Because he's dangerous right now.
Coughlin 0 for 2. Bounces that one foul. Well, the Cubs have shifted their whole everyday lineup just to keep Schwarber in the lineup. They benched a 2-time All-Star who's struggling, Starlin Castro, mostly because of Schwarber. And it's the right move. 0-2. That was pitch number 99.
Well, this will be the last inning.
Yeah, you got to think so. The first was what really did it. 38 pitches. He only gave up the 1 run. Only faced 6 hitters. Fastball low. One, two. Coghlan to Blanco again with the wind pushing that one. Blanco's there. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Well, he figured out a way. Blanco, then Duffy, then Posey coming up. Cubs with a 2-0 lead.
Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by Stanford Healthcare. Visit us at stanfordhealthcare.org.
Well, log on to csnbayarea.com as insider Alex Pavlovich provides wire-to-wire reporting of the Giants this season. You get breaking news, video, special features, and Alex, only on csnbayarea.com.
Nice wedding photo.
Yeah, what's up with Alex?
Bunt by Blanco. Arrieta, one away. Well, not a bad idea, but not a perfect bunt. Cubs have been doing this all series long. Coghlan comes out. They put Jonathan Herrera in for defense. It's only the 6th inning, but Coghlan got his 3rd at bat, so they take him out.
The bunt by Blanco, that's a base hit if it's against the left-hander.
Yep.
And to explain it better, the lefty's going to fall off towards 3rd.
The momentum of Arrieta kind of took him right to the ball.
And watch where Arrieta falls off. And he's just going to slide on over and make the play.
Duffy, who's 1 for 2, is lined out to second and tripled. 2-0. Well, this is the heart of the order for the Giants here. A chance to see Arrieta for the 3rd time through now. Duffy's triple, one of only 2 Giants hits so far. That's a perfect fastball at the knees, 2-1. Hits that one on the ground. Bryant scoops it up. 2 down. Oh, Matt Duffy's 1 for 3. Here comes Posey, who has grounded out and walked. Hitting .331. Now you saw Peavy a moment ago head down the tunnel toward the clubhouse. You got Hunter Strickland warming up in the bullpen. So as we speculated, looks like Peavy's done for the day. 5 tough innings. Posey drives one to right center field. Soler on the move will get there. Hard hit ball, but out number 3. Middle of the 6th, 2-0 Cubs.
CSN Bay Area is brought to you by Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit hefins.com and by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
Well, it is 2-0 Cubs going to the bottom of the 6th, and a pitching change when it's time for a change. Think Speedy, oil change and auto service. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. The new pitcher, the right-hander, Hunter Strickland.
Yeah, Strickland, he's having a good year. He's 2-1. And he's pitched in this series. See, opponents are only hitting .204 against him. He pitched an inning yesterday with a couple of strikeouts. Pitched 2/3 of an inning on Thursday.
Well, he's going to face the big boys here. Rizzo, Bryant, Soler. He threw the ball real well yesterday. Starts off with a slider. He is using that pitch a lot more. Change up low. I think that's the one he hasn't been quite as consistent with that as he has been with the slider. But both pitches, options to get hitters off that blazing plus fastball that he has. 1-1. Rizzo chases. Good change up there. 1-2. And you got to keep using it, got to keep throwing it to get the field, to make it the kind of pitch he wants it to be. He's on his way. Rizzo, I don't know how he even made contact with that fastball up around his shoulders. Duffy, not an easy play. He caught it. Wow. Well done by Matt Duffy.
That is a very nice play. Plus, you're dealing with headed into that bullpen. You know, look, those guys are going to get out of the way. But overall, just a nice play.
You got wind, you got bullpen, folding chairs, mound, left fielder.
Yeah, good play.
Well done. I mean, it's Rizzo. You don't make that play, who knows? Next pitch, he might hit it out onto Sheffield. Strike one to Chris Bryant. He's had a good series. Peavy did not get him out. 1-1. Peavy ends up going 5 innings, allowed the 2 runs, 101 pitches. So right from the start, it was such a grind for Jake, but he did keep the Giants in this game. After Bryant's bloop fell in the first inning, the odds of Peavy finishing 5 were not good.
No, absolutely. You're right.
Two and one. Fastball, 97 miles an hour. He puts that 97 mile an hour fastball right at the bottom of the strike zone.
Well, we got a couple of young guns here.
You do.
And another one on deck.
He wants a fastball again. Posey sets that target in. Pops it up. I mean, way up there. This will be a wrestling match. Posey made it look easy. 2 down.
Well, with the wind here, you're just never sure. Is it going to drift it into the seats? Is it going to make you look silly by tailing back towards the infield? And you're right. Buster Posey hung in there right by the on-deck circle, which can be a bit dangerous. But he avoids the danger. He almost stepped on that weighted donut, but there it is. Puts it away. Not a problem.
2 down for Soler.
Hey, we caught a break so far with the weather.
So far. Forecast was not good. That's a slider, and that one might have gotten a piece, Buster. Says he's all right.
Well, I think it's a welcome. It'll be a welcome day off for everybody tomorrow. This has been a long trip in hot weather. I will say this, though, the weather-wise, the Giants did catch a break here in Chicago.
Here.
I mean, weather could have been a lot worse.
Strike 2 on a foul ball. Well, no matter what, and this has been the case since the Giants have existed in San Francisco, but you go on one of these summertime road trips to these hot weather cities, you land back in San Francisco, step off that airplane, that first breath feels good.
And then you go, well, why didn't I bring a jacket?
1-2. Perfect pitch, strike 3 called. Well, John will come back. Pence is going to lead off. In the words of Harry Carey, let's get some runs. 2-0 Cubs.
Way to go, Harry. Let's have a cocktail, too. Peavy and Arrieta were your starters. Arrieta's still in the game. Bryant's got a bloop single to knock in a run, and Orioles left the ball game after getting hit in the helmet by an Arrieta pitch. John Miller's back. Here's Hunter Pence to lead things off. Pence, Belt, and Crawford. And it's outside for a ball. The Giants with only 2 hits in this game. A triple by Duffy in the first inning. And then a bunt single by Adrianza in the third. A strike to even the count. Belt trying to get on. Or make that Pence trying to get on for Belt. And he takes low.
Well, they're right in the game, so just one base runner would make the next guy the possible tying run. The Giants have been hitting a lot of home runs here at Wrigley and on this road trip in general.
That foul. 2-2.
You haven't checked your rain app lately, have you?
It's good.
Still good?
I'm guessing that it's good.
Because it's starting to feel like rain in the vicinity, doesn't it? That wind had picked up a little bit a little while ago. And it's gray.
Pence waiting now. He asked for time. Little bloop into center field, and it's going to fall.
Well, the Giants have been, I think it's past time they've been due one of those here for a while.
Yep. And Pence gets one to lead things off. So here's Belt. Now Belt has had no success against Arrieta. He struck out twice, once swinging and once looking. He had count leverage in his last at bat, and he couldn't do anything with it. So here's Belt, who's on a home run tear right now. 1 ball and no strikes. Pitch count wise, it's still very good for Arrieta. He's got 84.
They moved the shortstop, Addison Russell, who's the only infielder on the left side. They moved him in closer with Belt up there this time. Right to the edge of the infield grass and about midway between second and third.
Belt, and he hits it right to Russell. Unbelievable.
Well, because of the worry that he might lay down a bunt on that third base side, that's why he was over that close. What they've been doing when he's indicated that he's not going to be bunting in his earlier at bats, they've moved him back, and then he's over at shortstop over near second base.
He had a hit.
He would have had an easy hit on that.
So here's Crawford. Crawford is bounced out and flied out. Montero set up away, and they're going to check on Pence. Pence stole a bag in the 4th inning. Fouls it out of play. He had a pretty good rip.
Cal Ripken was before the game with some of the reporters here with the Giants covering the series. Cal's here doing a national telecast today, and he was singing the praises of what a big fan he is of Brandon Crawford. And I would think Crawford would remind him a little bit of him when he was a shortstop, playing great defense and also hitting homers, knocking in runs. That became sort of, everybody had to have one after Cal started doing that. Then it was Nomar Garcia-Parra, and A-Rod came along. Derek Jeter, although he didn't have the power that some of the others had. But not so much right now. There's Cal, Hall of Famer, the Iron Man.
And a shade high. Adrianza to follow. Pence leading. No.
Well, this is very patient approach by Crawford. He'd been very aggressive against Arrieta in his first 2 at-bats. In fact, grounded out on the first pitch he saw from him back in the second.
And Pence chased back one more time.
Arrieta does seem to do a lot of little things well. He's an excellent athlete, fields his position well, and has a quick move to first, it appears.
Look out. Everybody's all right. Although this guy's wearing it a little bit. Yeah. Feeling good.
Oh, the Giants fan gave it up to him.
You can't keep that.
He got drilled. He gave it to him.
If you keep that, you're a wimp. Like, I don't need that stinking ball. I'm fine.
You mean this guy?
Yeah. Now, if it's maybe a younger person, yeah. Pence goes, and the throw, and it's into the outfield, and Pence doesn't know it. And it'll be a stolen base. His second of the game. Care about the glove of Russell.
Perfect pitch, a slow hanging curveball. Watch Russell here. And he just ended up straddling Hunter Pence. And Pence did not know that the ball had gone into center field. I think he would have made it third had he known. Although he would have had to untangle himself from Russell to get up and go.
Here's the payoff. 3-2 breaking ball. A little respect.
Now that is respect.
That, or he didn't care if he walked him, even though Crawford is the tying run. He figures he's got Adrianza and then now Tomlinson coming out of the dugout.
Well, I guess respect either way, in that I'm not going to let this guy beat me. I don't have to go right after him.
Yeah, one's an all-star, and the other guy's hitting under 210. And it's low, 1-0. Actually, Adrianza with that base hit, that bunt hit in the third, is hitting at 227.
And once he got it going here when the team hit Atlanta, I guess it was even before he got to Atlanta, the Sunday in Texas. He's had it going pretty well.
2-0.
Adrianza is hitting .318 on this road trip.
So a visit.
Chris Bosio, he was a long-time Major League pitcher. Used to be with the Brewers in the American League. And when he was with the Mariners, he pitched a no-hitter at the Kingdome. You must have faced him. Bosio?
Yeah.
Or he was behind you? Or?
I think I did.
Chris Bosio. I think Bosio was the guy when he got the no-hitter. The final out was the big chopper on the turf at the Kingdome. Out behind second that Omar Vizquel barehanded and threw out the run at him. Cinched the no-hitter.
Only Omar. Only Omar. Especially at that time. Now guys try to make that play all the time. If you're Adrianza, this is a spot where you look for one pitch and you try to hit it hard. 3-0. Now you take. There's Tomlinson. If you're going to take, you squat down just a little bit, not to make it obvious. There it's 3-1. So you're back to looking for one pitch and squaring it up. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. That's not going to do it. Infield fly roll. 2 outs. So here's Tomlinson.
Well, and you might be asking, well, why did they let Adrianza bat for himself? Remember, the Giants have only the 4-man bench going with the extra pitcher. And Pagan entered the game in the 3rd inning off the bench. So really, from then on, a 3-man bench. And then you had the pitcher coming up after Adrianza. They needed the pinch hitter to bat for the pitcher. So into the 7th inning, you still have maybe the 8th or especially the 9th where you may need another pinch hitter or 2. I think if they'd had a little bigger bench, that he may well have pinch hit for Adrianza there. Tommy Hunter up for the first time in the Chicago bullpen. Arrieta at 96 pitches for the game. Affeldt up in the Giants bullpen, a left-hander.
So here's Tomlinson. And he takes a strike. Tomlinson is 3 for 10. Remember, he started out 3 for 3. Giants trying to get on the board and keep the line moving here in the 7th. 0-2.
Nasty pitch. Probably the only way you could hit that one is if your bat was about 6 inches longer. A little 92-mile-an-hour cut.
Pitch number 99, Arrieta trying to get Tomlinson to fish. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pence at second. Crawford is at first. Giants trailing this one 2-0. 1-2. Tomlinson trying to give Arrieta a battle. Hence with his lead, he opened up the inning with a base hit. From Arrieta.
It was his 101st pitch, so he doesn't seem to have lost a whole lot.
At the belt. Little pop-up foul down the right field line and out of play. There's only been 8 hits in this game. And a 2-2 pitch coming up. This could be playable. Bottom of the 7th coming up. 2-0 Cubs. Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag CSNBA Data Strong fan, and you might just see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Here's Brian with a picture of 3 generations of Giants fans visiting Wrigley Field. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. It's Jeremy Affeldt. He comes into the game. You see his numbers. He's throwing the ball well. The ERA is inflated due to a couple of really, really tough outings for Affeldt. And here he's going to face Miguel Montero. And then we're going to get the pitcher, Arrieta, followed by Addison Russell. There's a strike to Montero. 2-0 Cubs here in the 7th. foul. Oh, 2 to Montero. He's 0 for 2. And this is skied out towards Adrianza. I'm not sure, John, but I'm thinking we know who their favorite player was of all time.
Well, and it's easy for us. Maybe some Giants fans are not that up on who wore number 10 for the Cubs. Although we see him every day out there with a beautiful statue of him making a play at third base. He was a great third baseman. He hit home runs. He hit for average, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Ron Santo.
Yeah, we miss him as a broadcaster. It was incredibly fun to come here and just kind of poke him a little bit about the Cubs. Just get him going, and we could get him going very easily. We could get him going about talking about Mays, and this is Arrieta who fouls it back, and McCovey, and he used to tell stories about Tom Heller. He and Tom Heller had something going on.
There's that statue.
Yeah, it's a beautiful statue. Absolutely gorgeous. One of the best I've ever seen. 0-2 pitch is in the dirt, 1-2.
I remember being a kid in the 60s, and the Cubs were almost always bad.
Yeah, and they had great players.
They had Santo, they had Billy Williams, another Hall of Famer. They had Ernie Banks, a Hall of Famer. And they generally had a couple other guys who could hit in that lineup as well.
Kessinger, Beckert.
Glenn Beckert, the great double play combination.
Arrieta's gone. I hated him.
Well, it seemed to me as a kid, and maybe if we went back and looked at the game by games, it maybe wasn't always that way. In those days, you didn't have divisions.
No.
It was just one 10-team league after the expansion in '62, and the Giants play all the other 9 teams 18 times each. So they play the Cubs as often as they play the Dodgers, and it seemed like there'd be a series at Wrigley Field. The Cubs would be 35 games out, and then they'd beat the Giants.
Here's Russell. Well, for us, it was all geographical. We're Braves fans, and none of their games are on TV, and the Cubs, all of their games, the Cubs games are on TV. So we had to watch the Cubs all the time. This is lifted out to right. Pence is there. And Affeldt with a nice inning. 8th inning coming up. John Miller, he'll do the honors. It's 2-0 Chicago. On demand in True HD, over 400 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.tv for more details. John's going to do the play-by-play, but you have a story about these.
Well, the Ron Santo guys are all wearing the Lou Brock's old thing, which was called the Brock umbrella. Swinging strike by Pagan. Lou Brock was marketing these in the St. Louis area. You know, a place where you get a lot of rain, instead of having to schlep your umbrella and just put it on.
The Brock umbrella?
I don't think he made a fortune on it. It is raining here at Wrigley Field, so that you could almost just
you could
smell it and feel it, that something was on its way over here.
Your app was different than mine. My app had nothing.
I'm like one of the old-time scouts versus the analytics guys.
Yeah.
Well, I just went with the eye test on it.
The smell, the feel.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be here long. A curveball from Arrieta, fouled back out of play. 39,939, the paid crowd. Well, there's that glove can do a lot of different things for him.
It's the Rawlings umbrella.
Some Giants fans, she's got the big hat. The sun hat turns into a rain hat. Back out of play. Did we get some word from the Giants clubhouse from as to the well-being of Aoki after being beamed?
I got a text from Dave Greshner who says he's okay. Aoki's okay, and they're just keeping a close eye on him, just monitoring him. Giants have two doctors on this trip, Dr. Murray and Doc Akazuki.
1-2 the count to Pagan. Rizzo, Arrieta covering. 1 away. Giants have only 3 hits in this game against Jake Arrieta. This was Aoki's trip to the plate in the 3rd inning. Just horrifying. 92-mile-an-hour pitch that came boring in on him. I think a cutter most likely had a break coming right toward him.
Yeah, he couldn't get out of the way. I mean, there wasn't a possible way you could get out of the way.
So here's Blanco, who has struck out, lined out to left center, and he tried to bunt his way aboard back in the 6th, and Arrieta threw him out, so he's 0 for 3. In the rain right now. That cutter is down and in. Pitch number 109, I beg your pardon, thrown by Arrieta. Strike 1 ball, 1 strike with Duffy on deck. Now, still, the Giants have not scored at all today. They've been behind the whole day. The Cubs scored in the 1st inning. And yet, if they get a base runner, the next guy would be the possible tying run. The Cubs bullpen is busy. Grimm, the right-hander, is up. Right there is Fowler. Out number 2. And Blanco is 0 for 4. Jake Arrieta, 7 2/3 shutout innings. Sonometi has 122 pitches. Now, this guy just kind of burst upon the scene just last year. But he's not a young guy. He's 29 years old. So this is not some kind of a risk on a young arm with the pitch count starting to mount. Cubs also have a left-hander up in their bullpen. Clayton Richard. Ball 1 to Duffy. Duffy had the Giants' loudest hit of the day, a triple into the gap in right center, but it occurred with 2 down and nobody on in the 1st inning. And he ended up being stranded at third. He's got Posey on deck. 2-0. So could be a key play for him to get on base right here with Buster coming up. They've done a pretty good job on Duffy, who's been a hot hitter. All the strike. Duffy's had 3 hits and 15 at bats in the series. Cubs, I think, have probably contained him better than anybody in recent memory. Two and one the count. 2-2.
Yeah, Duffy in between that swing. He was in between a fastball and a breaking ball. Otherwise, he usually makes contact. He's either going to hit that ball to right or foul it off to right.
Cubs fans on their feet. And way off the outside with that one. Full count. And he really does not want to walk Duffy in a 2-run game with Buster Posey coming up. So if Duffy's going to get something to hit, you would think this will be it. In the rain. Up the middle. Herrera to his feet. The throw. Not in time. He had a moment's hesitation before he got the grip on it. And that's all Duffy needed with his speed.
Well, Herrera is going to make a great effort on this. But this is what John's talking about right there. The slight juggle to get it out of his glove. And that made it easy for Duffy. I think Duffy would have beat it out anyway, but a nice effort by Herrera.
I think he would have. That's going to do it for Arrieta, who's up to 117 pitches, and with Buster Posey coming up, who wants a fresh arm, Justin Grimm will come in.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair experts.
Esurance Giants postgame live. Highlights, reaction, and analysis, and it's all coming up right after the game. In the Windy City, which right now is also the Rainy City, as you see the DuSable Bridge, or the Michigan Avenue Bridge, which connects South Michigan Avenue with North Michigan Avenue over the Chicago River. Here's Justin Grimm in for the bullpen. Buster Posey up, the possible tying run. Base hit. That was a breaking ball, and they've seen a lot of breaking balls from Grimm. I think he started everybody that he's faced with a breaking ball, and that one looked pretty fat, but for Buster, a single. was a little bit over the top of that break as it started dropping. And I think he'd like to see it again and see if he might be able to do even more with it.
Well, what you said, John, Buster's no fool. He knows what's going on.
So here is Hunter Pence. So the possible tying runs are on base now. But it is the track is now a wet track. Been raining for a while. 2 men on. Pence 1 for 3. Center field. Fowler is there. Right in front of the wall. Not quite for Hunter Pence. Still 2-0 Chicago.
Talk about the game with the fellas on KNBR 680, the sports leader.
Still a very light rain falling here in Chicago. Giants fans who are persevering. Jeremy Affeldt, who had a very quick, quiet 7th inning, comes back for his 2nd inning of work. Or at least he'll start the inning. They get the switch hitting Fowler, and then some lefties. And the curveball is outside for ball 1. They've got the other hard throwing left-hander, Osich, up in the Giants bullpen. With Osich on the club, the Giants have 3 lefties in the pen now. And Romo, a right-hander, is also up. Fowler's had a big imprint in this game, even though he has gone hitless, as Pence takes it 1 away. He's 0 for 4, but he led off the 1st inning and got into a protracted battle with Jake Peavy. Made him throw 12 pitches before Peavy finally got him out. And that set the tone. Peavy had the high pitch count all the way through. And although he pitched well, he only was able to go 5 innings. He was already at 101 pitches at the end of 5. But that hasn't really impacted the game from the standpoint of the Cubs leading the Giants. The real thing is the Giants have not been able to score at all. Jake Arrieta shut them down. Here's Schwarber, who has walked and scored, struck out and fly to left. And it's ball 1. The closest the Giants really came, Hunter Pence hit that fly ball, and he hit it pretty well, but not quite well enough. Caught on the warning track.
And it's a small park right now.
And it still fell a little bit short. Schwarber deep and foul down the right field line.
Well, they keep giving Schwarber these pitches out over the plate, and he keeps smoking it somewhere.
Out of Indiana University, Cubs had a need for left-handed power, so they drafted him out of Indiana last year.
Now the hits are in blue. The gray are outs. Everybody's pitching them away. And it ain't working.
From the middle and away, that's all of his hits.
Well, that's working.
Schwarber is hitless today, albeit with a walk and a run scored.
Well, Affel's been able to do this his entire career, especially with the Giants. There was a period where he lost it, but he's had it now for a while. And welcome to Mr. Affel's curveball, Mr. Schwarber.
Jonathan Herrera up for the first time, bluffed the bunt, took ball one. Affel has retired 5 in a row since taking them out in the 7th. 2-0. The Cubs leading, last of the 8th. 2-0. The Giants, as we look ahead to the 9th inning, it looks like Rondon, the big hard-throwing Cubs closer, is up, getting ready for the 9th, and that is what's going on. And there's Belt. He'll lead off in the 9th inning for the Giants. Then Crawford. Adrianza will be due up 3rd in the inning. Wow! Brandon Crawford. What a play.
Not a problem.
And what a series he's had.
Not a problem.
The Giants need 2 runs to stay alive. Rondon is coming in. Belt, then Crawford. Game's over. They'll head home, and on Tuesday they'll take on the Houston Astros. Bumgarner on the mound against Kazmir, and that will be our next telecast Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Pregame live at 6:30, plus complete pre and postgame coverage and Giants insider Alex Pavlovich at CSNBayArea.com, the home of the authentic Giants fan, CSN. Rondon is in. Last chance for the Giants.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change tune-up and repair experts. So here is Rondon, and he pitched on Thursday, and then he came back on Friday, and he got his second save in a row. He did not pitch in the game yesterday. He throws hard as Belt takes inside for a ball. Belt is 0 for 3. Overshift is on. That fouls, and now he's behind in the count 1-2. That is a pitch that Belt would like. It's down around the knees. With Crawford on deck, and then Adrianza.
Still just a light rain falling here at Wrigley.
And that pitch is high. It's 2-2.
So ground balls could be a little more difficult to get a good grip on and make a throw.
Could skid on you a little bit. 2-2 pitch. Here it is. And it's popped out of play. Fowler shading Belt towards left center field. I mean, the outfield and the infield are totally opposite. And it looks a bit odd. And a looper into left, and that's going to be a base hit. So the Giants do indeed get the tying run to the plate. It's Brandon Crawford. Giants, for the most part, late in games, they don't go quietly. Crawford is 0 for 2. He drew a walk in the 7th inning. Remember, little wind at all here at Wrigley Field here in the 9th. High, 1-0. The pitch to Crawford, 2-0. So what's left for Bruce Bochy are Maxwell and Sanchez.
The non-pitchers on the bench. We've got Adrianza on deck, and then the pitcher spot.
Now, Rondon really hadn't been close to Crawford. So you got a guy with 19 home runs, and he's sitting ahead in the count, 2-0. So if you're Crawford, just make sure it's a good pitch and let it fly. Pops it up, and that's going to be down the left field line and out of play. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Up is not a problem for Crawford as long as it's belt high. They'll open up the inning with a base hit. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Two and 2. So if you're Brandon Crawford and you're sitting on a fastball, you got it. But if you're sitting on a fastball middle in, he didn't get it, so he took it.
And it was really a great pitcher's spot too. It was right out of the outside corner.
So it's 2 and 2. Foul back.
Well, went out there again. This time he protected.
Belt being held on by Rizzo. It's 2-2 to Crawford here in the ninth. On the ground, a fair ball. It's going to roll over the mound. Belt headed to third. Crawford into second. And it's a double for Brandon Crawford. They won't go quietly.
Well, everything in the at bat was away from Rondon to Brandon Crawford, the catcher on the outside corner. But look where this pitch went. It went to the inside. And that's why he was looking for a pitch in the middle in earlier in the sequence. And he, even though everything had been away, he was ready for that one. Down and in, right into his power, and he did not miss it.
Boy, and it got it by Rizzo, who was still playing on the line. So here's Adrianza. Adrianza is 1 for 3. And he rolls it foul, and it's 0-1.
Now, a perfect idea here would be for Adrianza to get a base hit and get them both home and tie the game. But even if he hit a ground ball out to, say, second base, he not only would get a run home, but Crawford would go to third, and they could get another run without getting a hit again.
That would be the perfect out. It's 0-1. It's 0-2. And it really is important that Adrianza puts wood on the ball.
Hector Sanchez has come out on deck with a pitcher due up next. They can't pitch hit for Adrianza. The Giants have no other infielders.
0-2. In the dirt. Blocked by Montero.
Rondon has not had the same electric stuff, which, I mean, that could change at any moment, but he has not had the same electric stuff that we saw here Thursday night when he looked unhittable. You throw 99 mile an hour two-seamers in that game.
It's 1-2. In tight.
It hit him.
So in tight, it hit him.
Right in the foot. Now that had a lot of action on that pitch, and he just could not get out of the way. And hopefully he's okay.
By the way, while all of this was going on, as you see the bat foot breaking ball that got Adrianza, Denorfia now is in right field.
So when they brought Rondon in, apparently it was, well, it wasn't even a double switch. They just brought Denorfia in as a defensive replacement for Soler. Bosio, the pitching coach, out. The bases are loaded. Nobody out. And Hector Sanchez coming up.
Reminds me a little bit of the game last Sunday in Arlington.
Giants in that game ended up getting a run, and they had Hunter Pence coming up. And there was a little controversy about should Roberto F. Kelly sent Aoki home on the base hit to left field. Well, he had Hunter Pence coming up with one out and the bases loaded, so he held him. And any kind of a throw didn't even have to be a perfect throw. He would have been out by maybe 10 feet.
Absolutely.
But then Pence hit the double play.
Here's Hector Sanchez. The Cubs are going to overshift for Sanchez. No balls in one strike.
Hector's a very aggressive hitter, and that worked against him right there. And they know that. Rondon knows he does not have to throw a strike to Hector.
Belt, Crawford, Adrianza. 0-2. You wait around all day and you get put in a spot like this. And now you wait around all day and it's 0-2 in a spot like this. pitches, one down in the ninth. Well, it's not like it was the first time he'd seen it. And here's Pagan.
Well, Hector Sanchez has had a lot better plate appearances than that. And against a guy who is struggling, and he just helped him out 3 straight times.
Here's Pagan hitting for the 3rd time in the game. Remember, he came in for Aoki. No balls and 1 strike. So Rondon, who is very shaky with the first 3 hitters he faced in this inning, and with the help of Hector Sanchez, now feeling pretty good about himself.
Well, he's thrown 4 straight low sliders, and all 4 have been swings by the Giants hitters. He's happy to see it.
0-2.
Pagan thought it was off the outside. And it sure looks like it.
And he was right. Well, it's, hey, look, 1-1 or 0-2.
Big call.
Pagan needs to put it in play. 1-2.
Well, he threw the same, almost identical 2-strike pitch to Pagan that he threw to Hector Sanchez. And Hector was in swing mode while he was up there.
Two to Pagan. Way outside.
Rondon rubbing his hand on his right pant leg, almost as if maybe it's a very humid day. We've had rain, and maybe the perspiration or some moisture from the rain. That ball seemed to slip out of his hand. He looked like he was drying his hand on his pant leg.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Rondon ready to pitch. Fouls it out of play.
Well, Pagan went down and got that low slider.
I don't believe Pagan right now trusts Jim Reynolds' strike zone. So if there's anything close, he's going to take a swing at it.
That might have hit the dirt if he hadn't hit it. I think you're right. That's how that kind of a call changes the count and changes the rest of the at-bat.
Foul back again.
Now that one was a little more hittable.
Belt, Crawford, Adrianza. They're your base runners. It's 2-2 to Angel Pagan. Here in the ninth. Foul. And that's 3 straight breaking balls.
Well, the old bromide is you keep throwing breaking balls over and over again, and at some point you're probably going to hang one or two.
Well, the other thing too, I've heard Mike say it all the time that the easiest pitch to throw for a strike is the slider. And he may not trust his fastball to throw it for a strike.
Well, the last one he threw was about 3 feet outside. I mean, literally 3 feet outside. So maybe that was the conversation Montero was having with Rondon. But he's seen all those sliders. He might be able to blow a fastball by him.
It's 2-2. So it's left up to Gregor Blanco.
Well, 2 strikeouts in a row for Rondon, and he did not have to throw many strikes to get him either. This next pitch, by the way, will be his 28th pitch of the inning.
He threw 25 on Friday night. So here's Blanco. Blanco can be a tough out. And he takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
Another slider. Well, he finally throws one toward the about mid-thigh out over the plate, and Blanco is the guy who's not swinging at it. Although it was, I think, toward the outside part of the plate, not the one he was looking for.
0-2. And he's staying with it. Giants are down to their last strike. That foul will do it again. And another. Well, he's ahead 0-2. As long as he keeps that slider down, he can throw as many in a row as he wants. The tying run's not at third. The tying run's at second.
.30 pitches thrown by Rondon in the inning.
0-2.
Well, it was a fastball, and he wanted it up. You saw the catcher give the signal. They wanted it up out of the strike zone, and he almost threw it right over the head of the catcher.
Yeah, you're right. You ask your pitcher to keep everything down, and then all of a sudden you want him to throw something up. Here it's 1-2. 2-2.
I can't remember the last fastball he threw for a strike.
Montero knows it. Well, that was the one he had to hit a corner. He's still got another one to hit a corner. This is a season high for pitches for Rondon. It's 2-2. And a full count.
And finally, a Giant hitter took that slider, that low slider.
So Blanco giving Rondon a battle. It's 3-2. Now the runners will be on the move. And Montero's going to go out and have a word. Adrianza, who's at first, he'll be able to take off. So that means a ball hit in the gap. You got a shot.
And with those big corners here. 355 to the left field corner, 353 to right. Even down one of the lines.
So it's 3-2. The pitch. Fouled at home plate. Threw him another slider.
Hunter Pence, who may be visualizing the hit. Maybe one of those gappers you're talking about. His teammates will tell you, Hunter Pence, he will visualize his own at bat, and when his teammates are up, he'll visualize a great at bat for them.
3-2. The pitch. Out of play.
Well, those last two sliders are both up, uncharacteristic to what we've seen from Rondon most of this inning. And he's in sort of uncharted territory. 35 pitches thrown, and that's a longer inning, as you said, than he's had.
And with the game on the line, this is the 9th pitch in the at-bat. It's 3-2. Here it comes. Got him, and that's the ball game.
And Blanco, as Pagan was earlier, furious about that call by Jim Reynolds. He thought it was outside.
Our play of the game is Jake Arrieta, as he picks up his 13th win of the season. So nice job for Arrieta. Final score here at Wrigley, it's the Cubs 2 and the Giants nothing. Stay tuned, Esurance Giants postgame live. That's going to start right now.